Hey everyone, it's Peter. Hope you're having a good day. I just did a walk and I enjoy doing some walking as that's my time to really unwind, pray and reflect, meditate, listen to some music. I stopped and talked to a buddy of mine for about 10 minutes during the walk, but it was a good walk. So it's been a good morning. I want to pick up where I left off last time, and it was that space and time in my life where I wasn't sure whether or not I had cancer. If you remember, the head urologist of this practice, and just as a background, I had been to three different urologists the year before, feeling pressure in that area, fatigue, and also hematuria, which is actually seeing visible blood in my urine, but no one really doing a deep dive because I was 43, healthy. I mean, I was very healthy, ate right, and this kind of cancer, the bladder cancer, usually affects men in their 60s who have smoked or been around chemicals, that kind of thing. But anyway, so I'm in this space where he's been inside to look, which was a very uncomfortable experience, and pulled out the scope and went to leave the room, the examining room, saying, you have nodules and they're almost always cancer, and me grabbing his coat saying, what do you mean? And him just very briefly, doctors are something else, aren't they? Some have good bedside manner and some don't. So anyway, he just said, well, these are almost always cancer, left. And so there was a period of time, because he was going to have to do a deeper dive inside my bladder, go in under anesthesia and scrape these nodules out, and that's how they stage and grade them. Stage one, I explained the staging before. Stage one, superficial; two, more involved in the lining of the bladder, muscle, all that. Stage three is outside the bladder, but still in the area. And stage four is outside and has moved to other organs. And that survival rate is like 5% for a year. So the survival rates go down as you stage it. But I didn't know any of that. I didn't research it. I was just trying to cope with the news. Busy attorney, busy father, busy husband, busy church member, all that stuff, right? Trying to keep up with community activities. My law practice was very demanding, and sort of tried to put this on the shelf. Well, in about a week or so, he's going to go in, he's going to scrape it, and I'll deal with it then. But having that nagging feeling in the back of my mind, like it was twofold. It was, oh boy, my mom was in the end stages of cancer, and I was like, I do not want to hear that word. As I said before, very fearful of that. On the one hand, and on the other hand, thinking, maybe this will be just a brief interruption. We'll be all set. I can return back to normal, and kind of holding on to that end of things. But also in the back of my mind, somewhat thankful that I'm going to have an answer to how poorly I felt. And I know I've been facilitating a cancer support group for 20 years, and I've done from diagnosis to treatment to passing or else survival with lots of people, family members, everything. And I know that time of uncertainty where you don't feel well, but you don't know what it is yet. And that's the place that I was in at that point. And so what I want to introduce right now is I didn't embrace this concept yet, but I would as my cancer journey went on, because my cancer journey would get worse and worse over the years to eventually major first impression surgeries with the news, go home, call hospice, and get your affairs in order. So my journey would travel down that road rather than, we did a surgery, pulled it out, you don't need any further treatment, no systemic treatment, no radiation, nothing, you're okay, And so I didn't know at that point. But I was entering the realm of powerlessness, of that place where I would have to make a decision who's in control. And what do I do when I'm starting to feel like I'm not in control? And, throughout my life, I was how old was I? I was 43. I had always assumed or set a course that, hey, I have some control over all people, places, and things. So I hadn't gotten to that point yet where I was like, hey, serenity prayer says, God, grant me the serenity to accept those things that I can't change, and then the courage to change the things that I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. But that place of like, oh, I might not be in control, and this could be a very serious thing, hadn't entered my mind yet. There were little seeds of that. So it would turn out that belief would cement itself as I went further and further down this cancer journey. And in fact, that belief would be the thing that would set me free, because it would be the thing for which I could say to my higher power, Jesus Christ, I am powerless over this journey. Yes, I can choose doctors, I can choose a diet, I can choose a physical regimen, but I am powerless over this journey, and you are in control of my life. I was on a pathway to that. But for right now, in my journey, it was uncertainty, fear, doubt, being in an uncomfortable place, hoping for the best. Okay, well, I hope this speaks to your journey, and looking forward to the next videos. Thanks.